Are you ready for the ultimate bikepacking weekend adventure? Join us for an unforgettable self-supported bikepacking trip through Southwest Virginia. The Grayson Gravel Pie Bikepacking Adventure travels along the Virginia Creeper Trail, the beautiful gravel roads of Grayson County, Virginia, and the New River Trail. All lodging and camping arrangements are included, along with daily routes and guides riding along with you. This self-supported adventure offers resupply opportunities every 20 miles for your food and water needs. Find out more at graveltraveldirt.com.
You're listening to Mid-Atlantic Gravel, Travel, and Dirt.
Hi, everybody. I'm Brian.
And I'm Joey.
And I'm Jess.
And I'm Nate.
Folks, this is episode 197 of Mid-Atlantic. Or is it 420? No, it's not 197. That's the right number. If you're new here, this is the podcast where we talk about gravel bikes, adventure biking, bikepacking, bike camping. Tonight, we're going to talk about LangKISStur bikes up at Hushmoney, right? We're just playing bikes.
Yes.
Okay.
We're going to talk about playing bikes.
Did you just say it backwards?
No, what'd I say?
Are you just screwing with me?
No, I didn't do anything.
I thought you said LangKISStur bikes up in Hushmoney.
Well, I said we're going to talk about playing LangKISStur
Oh
bikes.
my God, I am really bad right now.
Hushmoney bikes. Okay, anyway.
Oh.
Joining us tonight is Baron VonFancypants, a.k.a. Nate Baker from Hushmoney Bikes. Welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight, Nate. It's great to have you here.
Thanks for having me, y'all. Before we get any further, I want to make it abundantly clear that it's LangKISStur, not LangKISStur or any other variation.
I try so hard to make sure that's one I don't get wrong. Did I get it wrong?
You didn't
get it
eat
right.
enough pierogies.
You get it right most of the time. I just like to spread the gospel whenever I can.
Okay. Because I know it's LangKISStur.
Yeah, just imagine a big kiss in the middle. LangKISStur.
That's exactly how I do it. I always picture the big kiss right in the middle.
Yeah, that's it. That's what we want you to picture.
Got it. Before we dive in too deep, gotta send love out to Salt Stick and JoJé Bars. If you don't know, Salt Stick helps athletes maintain performance by replacing a full spectrum of electrolytes lost through sweat in a form and quantity that your body can absorb. Right alongside JoJé Bars brings together the right balance of whole food ingredients for sustainable energy, including optimal levels of healthy fats and carbohydrates using nut-based proteins. Have you ever tried Salt Stick or JoJé, Nate?
Nope.
Oh, yeah. Jess Sarah is one of my homies. Of course, I've had the bars.
Right on. We were trying to get her on the podcast. But when you go to either the Salt Stick website or the JoJé website, when you reach the checkout, use the code LOVEYOUBUY, take 20% off all your items, saltstick.com, jojbar.com. Going to have links and all of that information in the show notes. Also, our friend Philip down at Cutaway USA. Offers premium cycling apparel born where, Jess?
In the Blue Ridge Mountains.
Cutaway is an industry leader using innovative fabrics combined with clean and bold designs. Make sure to visit their website, cutawayusa.com, to see all the goods. And when you reach the checkout there, because you know you're gonna, use the code GTD20, take 20% off of your entire order. Joey, what are you drinking today?
They canceled my order I accidentally ordered last week during the podcast.
Joey got a little crazy last week and accidentally ordered a size he couldn't even wear. What are you drinking? Are you drinking anything over there?
Seltzer tonight.
Seltzer? I'm having seltzer.
Playing it safe.
I'm having seltzer. Jess is having
Always
seltzer.
have seltzer.
Nate, anything in front of you up there? All good?
I'm an ice-cold Coca-Cola kind of guy.
Right on. So we have no crack of the week. That's okay. We have a smush of the week. Did we do a smush of the week? There we go. New T-shirts are in and shipping, and thank everybody that's been buying those. I gave you guys y'all's tonight. Aren't they just really soft and buttery?
They're
Nice.
in the box with my toilet paper, and I couldn't tell the difference.
Oh, see? That's perfect. It's brilliant. Don't use it for that, though.
I am wearing new Lululemons, so that's perfect. They match my buttery soft leggings.
Wow. I'm so excited for that T-shirt. I just did not want to actually even start putting it out there for sale until I got my hands on it, because I wasn't sure of the quality. But they are here, and they're boss, and they're awesome. The other thing that's going on in my world, I'm joining Joey in the rooftop tent land.
Wow, very nice.
And me. I'm there too.
You're a rooftop tenter? What is your brand of choice?
I've got a Cascadia. I've had it for 8 years, maybe.
Wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
That's good old CVT.
I looked at CVT. I talked to CVT. and I think I have decided I am going 23-0. I think that's going to be the direction I head.
Pretty cold.
Yeah.
Honestly, they're all kind of the same thing, I think.
Yeah. There's a few things that 23-0 does that is really kind
They're a
of
little fancier than I can afford.
hit. Man, I don't know about all that. They're all expensive. Good grief.
Yeah.
So anyway, going to be able
Hey,
to.
I think we said it last week. That like for a month, I'm living in that thing at bike events in the springtime.
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing.
They're great.
Do the same thing. Going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Joey, what's going on over in your world?
What?
What is up with you?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Did you not
Joey.
expect this question?
Yeah. No. It was Thanksgiving week.
Right.
We had a great weekend at the store.
Uh-huh.
Helped out a lot of people.
Nice.
It was small. Well, we ran. We had a promotion and it
Had a
was
great sale going on. I saw that.
Yeah. There was that, and then Thanksgiving we had a really nice mountain bike ride up in Jersey at Alaire. There was, God, I thought if we went Thanksgiving morning, there would be, 5 of us, and we rolled up. The parking lot's full, like 30 people, and that's at 8:00, 9:00. Belmar, a shop up in Jersey, right there they had like a 40-person ride. There was like 100 people on the trail system.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah,
But
there
we
was
barely ran into anyone. Like,
Did you see Sal?
I thought I did because he's like, Joey, and it was my stepbrother's friend yelling at me.
All right. Didn't see Sal then. Okay.
No.
we did see some guys that were riding S-Works. There's 3 of them, and Joey follows them on Instagram.
No, I don't.
Okay, never mind.
I don't follow those type of people. Golly, I have class.
Just kidding. That didn't happen.
Tell me about your ride.
Okay.
Because Jess, the mountain bike, you are one now.
Yes.
You're like copacetic, and now tell us about your Turkey Day adventure on your mountain bike.
Yes. I went down a very big descent, and Joey was talking me out of it. Like, don't do it. Maybe you should go down.
Oh, no, I wasn't.
Okay, maybe I wasn't there either. So
Were you guys actually on the same place?
We were.
Thursday?
No, we
What
rode
if you
great. She was doing like 1-foot drops and stuff. Like I was comfortable.
Nice. Awesome.
But I did this really big drop.
So there's like this like ravine, and they shaped it like a bowl. I mean, the first 10 feet is almost like a wall. It seems like you have a little bit of degree, but it's like pretty straight down.
Okay.
And they got a nice roll into it, but my brother-in-law my brother-in-law almost let me run right into it without knowing about it.
Oh.
I went across, he came over, and then Jess has never done anything like that. And I thought she was fine. All I was telling her to do was put her dropper down and lean back because Jess will lean forward.
Get the way back. Yep.
And that was it. But my heart rate was like 180 beats per minute.
Your heart rate is probably higher than hers.
Oh, yeah. Mine was higher than I was riding it all that whole day. And just seeing like a loved one doing something like that for the first, like, it's not a just brush it off. Like, it was, you're going to hurt yourself.
Let kids do things dangerous,
yeah.
supervised.
I tried to record it and I missed all of it.
He was too zoomed in, so you didn't see anything. So, like
old grandma,
my
like-
stepbrother was, it was like a grandma videotaping their kid's dance recital.
You
and
didn't
you're
get
like
his
not
face,
even
like-
in the frame. Like, what is going on? So we were like looking at it, and I'm like, Joey, I'm not even in this. Like, where were you recording? But yeah, that's what happened. So it was cool. We did about like 9-10 miles of mountain biking on
that's a lot.
Thanksgiving morning.
Nice.
It was good. I have lots of bruises up and down my legs, just because
I was going to ask you if you fell.
I fell quite often. But it's okay. The leaves were there. It was very soft falling. So
The only thing I worry about is what's underneath the leaves.
okay,
Pine
now
needles
I
and
didn't
sand.
think about that until now. So thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah.
At least there was no snakes, but
She
so
did good.
it was great. It was really fun.
He took us into a section of like freaking like dirt jumps. That we just, it was like just you either got to clear 10 feet or
A line, B line.
Not
But
my
I
style.
kept saying like get wrecked or something every time I got over one. So like Joey like wasn't waiting for me because like
I could hear.
he could hear me yelling about myself the entire time. So that was
that's
pretty
awesome.
funny.
Sounds like you had a good time.
It was good. It was really nice. Very stress-free morning to have the start of Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Headed into the afternoon New Jersey.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Believe.
Let's not talk
Alcohol fest.
About that. Okay.
I drank like a bottle of Knob Creek.
Oh, you were texting me like Thanksgiving evening, and I don't know what's wrong. You were wrecked, dude. You were blind.
That wasn't that bad. Last thing before we go to Strava Club, right?
Yes.
Are we at that point?
We're getting ready to be there.
Okay. December 19th is our NCR ride.
18th. Sorry, I saw it today. I saw you posted it today. Didn't ask me if I'd be able to go on that day.
We've had people meet us from Pennsylvania down there.
Okay.
So that's about it. Yeah.
NCR.
Details are on the Facebook.
Details on Facebook, and that's a pack ride.
What?
Before we move on, I got into my live Peloton class. So I will be going to New York City to take an actual class in the Peloton studio. So
exciting.
just thinking that's not the coolest thing ever.
That's exciting.
So I put my kids on like an online game real quick so I could sign up because it sells out in like 5 minutes.
Okay.
So it was fun.
So, do you have to bring the Peloton bike down from upstairs and pump it up?
No. Thank God. I will be traveling solo for this trip.
Nate, anything you've done since last Tuesday?
Yeah, what have you been up to, Nate?
Oh gosh, I threw a little party and I hosted a little bike ride.
Yeah.
Keep missing that.
Yeah, you keep missing your opportunity to find out.
Yep.
Yeah, we were good till like the last minute with the dog and family.
I think I figured out the recipe for a successful fundraiser. Make the registration inexpensive enough that people who are on the fence just sign up, and then way oversell it dramatically. And then here's the important part: make sure you get a bad weather forecast and a good weather day.
Oh yeah, you guys lucked out.
Yeah, if everybody had shown up that I was expecting, I would have been in trouble for certain.
How many people did you have?
You think about 150.
Wow.
See,
and then we had a little house party in the evening, which probably had about another 200 people come and go throughout.
That's cool.
You had a lot. We're going to talk about all the things you got. You got a lot of stuff to celebrate up there, personally, and all your.
Yeah, I gotta. Before we get to the serious stuff, like a little shop stuff.
Yeah, let's. You want to do Strava Club real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
We have Chris Rambo from Lewis, Delaware, with 125.5. Not John Rambo.
Nice job, friend.
Nate Murray, whatever, however you say that, and from York.
Nasty Nate.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Joey's easily distracted this evening.
From York, Pennsylvania, with 113.4, and then Trina Perkins from Andor, because she's not from anywhere, and I've been binge watching that, with 96.9, which was our top one. She was our 100th rider, and we're sitting at 800
and 80.
Yep,
880. Good job on Strava Club.
Wow,
tonight,
Joey, that was quite difficult for you on this one.
Strava.com.
I should ask him what my Christmas present is right now, shouldn't I?
/dirt.
All right, let's talk to Nate, Joey. Let's talk to Nate. Joey, dive in, bud. Joey wanted to run the show tonight.
Yeah.
Have at it, Joey. How far back do you want to go, Joey?
You mean you rewind a little bit? You need me to play something back for you?
Yeah, sure. No, I know we want to talk about what happened to you this year, obviously.
Sure.
And I think that's a big part of tonight.
Yeah, and I mean, I got a message I want to get out there, so I feel like you and I are in the same place right now.
I do. Do you want to talk about your shop?
Let's talk about the new shop.
Let's do it. We can do it chronologically if you want. We can talk about me still being alive first and the shop second, or whatever you want to do. You tell me. It's your show.
Let's go with you first, in case it's a little sad for folks, so we can bring them back up with the shop move and stuff.
It's not sad. He's still here with us. That's the takeaway. It's the beautiful part. It's a beautiful story. It's like Hallmark. Okay, so the serious stuff. Yeah. Did you? Okay.
Yes.
So I kept it very vague as far as like questions. We're talking about your heart.
Yes.
For everyone who doesn't know. But what I want to ask first is like, you're leading up to this, going from no doctor to your friend telling you to go to the doctor and to the doctor, like that process.
Yeah. So, I mean, I haven't been to the doctor. I haven't been sick. I haven't had a reason to go to the doctor in years. And I don't really know, I don't really know when it developed or what happened. The abridged version is essentially, my training partner gave me a hug. And then when she did that, she put her ear on my chest and she kind of backed away with this surprised look at her face. And she said, "How long have you had that murmur?" And I was just like, I didn't even know I had a murmur. So I guess I just found out about it right now. And things went very quickly from that point forward. I did go the next day and race Gravista down in Virginia, which was a heck of a time and a wonderful event. And I came back, and the following Monday, I went in for an echocardiogram where the murmur, which is a symptom, was diagnosed as a massive hole in one of the valves of my aorta. And it was causing blood to be able to flow backwards in my heart, which is not the direction you want it to be going.
Good grief.
Yeah. So we made an appointment to meet with a cardiothoracic surgeon, knowing that I was going to have surgery to repair it. The appointment was for July 6th, and I think this was like July 2nd, I want to say. And on the 4th of July, I woke up from a nap, and I was just like, I had tingling in my fingers and toes. And I was just like, it's time to go to the hospital. So yeah, I went to the hospital. I was admitted. I stayed for a week, at the end of which I was supposed to have open heart surgery. And then like 12 hours before the surgery, my surgeon called and let me know that he had just tested positive for COVID.
Oh.
So you do all of this, like, coming to terms with it. You reach out to the people that you haven't spoken to in a while. You take a moment to assess like grudges that you're holding and they're worth holding and all this stuff. And you do all this work to get ready for this surgery, which statistically you're likely to wake up from, but it's still open heart surgery. And then you're sitting there in the bed and the surgeon calls and he's like, yep, we got to do it in a week. So, and then I had a week of just kind of being in limbo. They let me go home, and just sort of rest in my own house for a few days prior to surgery. And then, I showed up morning of, got a good solid shave job from a stranger, and fell asleep for a while.
It's not like you fall asleep though. It's like you're out, and then all of a sudden you wake up later. It's like
It's the strangest thing. Like I remember getting up onto the gurney, and I remember looking at one of the medical professionals in the operating room and just saying like, "All right, let's party." And that's the last thing I remember.
Mm-hmm.
And then next thing I know, it's 8:30 p.m. and my mom is standing over me, using a folder to like fan me a little bit. And I have no knowledge of it. I shouldn't say I have no knowledge. I have no memory of it, of course.
Right.
And in reality, that surgery was much more stressful for the people in my life than it was for me. I was asleep the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
I've been through that on the other end. I'm of that age that, I've had a lot of loved ones go through that type. And you're exactly right. The sitting in the waiting room and waiting for a loved one inside of something like that is just, it's rough. It's brutal.
Nate, how long was the actual surgery?
So that's actually a good part of the story. The plan was to have a cow valve, like an actual, animal tissue valve, put into my heart. And that surgery takes about 4 to 5 hours is my understanding. I did know that there was a slight chance that they could repair the valve. This is a surgery that's not common. There's a whole checklist of stuff that you need to essentially qualify for the surgery. But the fact that I was a cyclist and was fit and was young, they felt like if they got in there and found like they could repair it, they would do so. So essentially, the short version of the story is they were ready to put a replacement valve in, which would have had to have been replaced after 10 to 20 years. They opened me up. They were like, "Nope, hold on, I think we can fix this." And so they did. They got my heart pumping on its own again. They started taking my vitals, and the surgeon wasn't quite satisfied with what he was getting. So they actually opened me up a second time, or shut my heart down a second time. I don't know. Again, I was asleep. I don't know. And they essentially did a second surgery under the same anesthesia. So my poor mother, who's waiting in the waiting room, and my ex-partner, Jamie, who was, great by my side the entire time, they thought they were going to be there for 4 to 5 hours. It ended up being over 8 hours. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that the stress just sort of grows exponentially as the clock ticks away.
Yep. Now, were the doctors giving them any updates? Were they able to kind of like keep track of that?
Apparently the people at there's LangKISStur General Hospital, which is a UPenn hospital. They did a really good job of keeping my people informed. And then my mom was able to send out text messages to people who were sort of waiting for updates. On the whole, I mean, this is sort of without exception, I felt like the care that I received, both from LangKISStur General Hospital and also Union Community Care, which is my primary care provider, was amazing. I mean, as a person coming in, like small business owner with no health insurance, the care that I received was really, I don't know what the better word is here, touching. It was something. I felt very well cared for the entire time.
So the symptom that caused that just amazes me. It blows me away. I mean, she just literally put her head on your chest and could hear it. And I have a murmur. I've had it since I was in high school, but it's the symptom of something else. And for me,
Correct.
it's just simply I can't even remember what the name of it is, but it's something they don't really worry about. And I've done the EKG, and actually I just did that this year because when I go to get my DOT med cards, I have to go through that process. And it was at this checkup that my regular doctor said, maybe we should actually check that out. You're at the age now we want to actually get a little bit better understanding of what's going on there.
Yeah.
But wow, I mean, I don't want to use the term lucky. I don't know. What do you use? What do you say about that? I mean, just.
I mean, I feel extraordinarily lucky. Sometimes I think about it in mathematical terms, and I'm like, the statistical probability of, having that type of friendship with somebody who, give you a hug when you're having a bad day, that person also being qualified to diagnose it, or not necessarily diagnose the problem, but diagnose like, hey, I hear a murmur, you need to go see a professional. And it actually gets a little deeper than that. So this person works for, a community care center. It's called Union Community Care. They're here in LangKISStur. They're great. As a small business owner, I didn't have health insurance. So before we went to the hospital, she had one of their caseworkers walk me through filling out a Medicaid application. And ultimately, I qualified as a worker with a disability because of my blood pressure, which, the blood pressure was what it was because of the hole in my heart. So this person, in addition to hearing this symptom and having the resources to say, okay, we need to get you here and here and here to get you checked out, also saved me well over $500,000.
Wow.
Which is an unfathomable sum of money to me. So
wow.
We can segue this later on into the bike ride fundraiser that I just threw, but we'll get to that when we get to it.
So from the time that somebody says, hey, you might want to have a doctor check this out, to the time that you have the surgery, what's that window? Sounds like it's just a couple of weeks.
It was, and it would have been about 7 or 10 days, I forget, had my surgeon not had COVID. Normally this process would take a lot longer, but I had become symptomatic, and when you become symptomatic with a heart issue, things get accelerated pretty quickly.
Now, in hindsight, is there anything that you can point to before, it was like, hey, I'm hearing something weird? There's anything you can point to that you could say, you know what? That was a warning sign that I probably should have paid more attention to?
Yeah, and this is an important part of the message that I'm trying to get out to my fellow bike people, because we feel like we're fit all the time. And so nothing could be wrong with us, right? I was able to hear or feel my heart beating in my chest for years. It had been going on for so long that I just, I forgot that wasn't normal. And I mean, physically, 24 hours a day, I could just feel my heart beating in my chest. Also, things like walking up the steps would make me short of breath. I wouldn't notice it as much on a bike ride because you're supposed to be a little bit short of breath there. But a simple thing like walking up the steps, I would get really short of breath. And I was like, well, I had COVID 4 months ago. It's probably just long-term COVID, or, smoked weed for most of my life. It's probably just shortness of breath from being a pot smoker. And you make up these excuses. But the message is if something seems amiss, go get it checked out. It's honestly usually as simple as just going to a doctor and having them say, oh, it's no big deal. And if it is more serious than that, that's something you want to know.
And you want to know it early.
Yeah, for real.
That's the other thing too.
So
Yeah.
you were back to riding how much longer after
6
you?
weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went out for a ride with my PA Gravel Co buddies. 6 weeks, pretty much to the day after surgery. The heart healing was less of an issue than the sternum healing. You know, they gotta crack that thick boy open to get into your heart.
You were spatchcocked.
Yeah, I was. And I got a sweet new titanium plate in my chest as well. Yeah, and then 3 days after that, I got hit by a car.
I forgot about
Hits
that.
keep on coming. So, my goodness. Do you remember saying, Nate, slow down a little bit? Maybe I don't know, but how did that go? I mean, was it a bad? I mean, there's different degrees. Yeah,
it wasn't that bad. Like, you know, an ambulance did show up. The driver did get charged, but in terms of physical damage to my body, it was a lot of bruises and scrapes. It was one of those things that kind of felt like it was happening in slow motion. And in between the moment when the car hit me and the moment when I hit the pavement, I remember thinking, like, there was just enough time for me to think, all right, we're going to find out if this sternum is healed or not. And then I hit the ground hard on my right shoulder, and the sternum was fine. I was shaken up. I was angry. I mean, it was an act of gross neglect on the driver's part. And I was pretty bruised up, but on the whole, I was fine. It just, you know, at a moment when, like, I really needed bikes for my mental well-being. And it's like right after I got back to riding, and I just got smacked onto the ground.
It's pretty impressive that 6 weeks after open heart surgery, you can get back on a bike.
That's a testament to science and medicine.
Yeah, but it's pretty cool because sometimes I stop running for a week and I don't want to run anymore because I'm so anxious about starting again. So sometimes I feel that 6 weeks being out of something, getting back on a bike and riding it again could be really hard, not only physically but mentally. But I know you use bikes as a mental healing tool for you.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, I know bikes heal, and that's awesome. It's just, you know, sometimes after being off of something for 6 weeks or a long time, it could be nerve-wracking to start it back again.
I mostly just had this feeling of like, I was at my peak fitness, you know, right before I went under the knife. I was doing 200 miles a week. I could go and knock out a century ride without even thinking twice about it. And so I was having anxiety, like, it's going to take so long to get back where I was. And it's something that you just kind of have to come to terms with. I mean, it's the reality. Your body will bounce back. You just sort of have to accept it.
Were you able to notice it? I mean, now that all the blood is flowing in the right direction, how long before you realized, like, oh, this is how I should feel, isn't it?
Well, and I didn't feel right immediately. The heart had to sort of take a few days to heal, settle down. I don't know what the right term I'm looking for is, but I remember I could still feel it beating in my chest. The first few days after surgery, I could feel heartbeats in other parts of my body. And that was probably actually a reaction to the cocktail of drugs they had me on, which they were constantly adjusting and trying to dial in. After a few days, maybe a week, I started to feel normal again. And, you know, I do have moments now where I'm like, oh yeah, this is what normal feels like. This is what it's supposed to feel like. And I'll remark to my partners here at the shop, like, it's such a strange feeling not being able to feel my heartbeat in my chest, but in a good way, not a really scary way.
So what do you have to do now? Do you have any long-term, like, things that you have to sort of be mindful of? What's your long-term prognosis? Or
I don't have to do a whole lot. I came into the surgery healthier than most people who have that surgery. If I had to have the replacement valve, I would have to go back for an annual checkup, basically to know how long it's going to be until I have to have the valve replaced again. The beauty of the valve repair surgery that I had is that it's permanent. It never has to be adjusted or redone. My diet is relatively healthy, so I just sort of have to maintain my current diet. I have no restrictions on exercise. I do still have to take a nice cocktail of drugs every morning, but those dosages are getting smaller, and so that list is getting smaller as time goes on. In the end, I'll probably only have to be on one long-term medication, and that's just the blood pressure medication. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of the beauty of the thing is I had my heart cut open and I let a stranger put his fingers inside my heart. And my long-term prognosis is better than it would be if I hadn't let somebody do that.
Science, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I get to lead a completely normal life, and my heart is probably not the thing that's going to kill me.
Have any of your doctors or surgeons said to you, it was like, oh, 5 years ago, we weren't doing this or something like that, or you'd have had this or you'd have had that? It seems like that's something they always love to tell you.
Not the surgeons, but other people who have had open heart surgery who reached out to me, members of the Zipper Club, if you will. And kind of across the board, the remark was like, hey, be glad that you're having this surgery now, not X number of years ago, when it was a full sternotomy and a much longer recovery. And I am grateful for science. It's pretty rad.
What are your takeaways? What are the things that, I mean, we hit on them a couple earlier, but I want to recap them all in one spot here during our conversation. What are your takeaways, and what are the things you want people to know?
The thing that I want people to know more than anything, which I mentioned before, is if something doesn't feel right, get it checked out. And if you find yourself in this position where you've had a major surgery and you've had to sort of like examine your mortality and have a complete shift of what your normal life is, there's a whole mental health side of the recovery that they don't really prepare you for. They give you discharge papers, and those discharge papers pretty plainly say, like, you are likely to experience symptoms of depression for a few weeks after surgery. And that's a very real thing. I went through it pretty hard, and every other person I've talked to who had a similar surgery said the same thing. Like, there was some pretty heavy mental health consequences to the surgery, and it's to be expected. You're going to get through it. And yeah, that's an important takeaway that I feel like they left me a little underprepared for, was just like, you're gonna catch the SADS for a minute, and you should just be ready for it and have people in place to be there for you.
Yeah, I really do wish we could, as a society, as a community, get to the place where we are as open talking about mental health as we are talking about physical health. I think it's just, we Outside Magazine, all of the things, they tell you all the things you should be doing, 12 tips for but it's all that the physical side of our health is just, and it's a conversation I think that's evolving. I believe it's evolving.
It is.
It's going to take a little bit of time for people to really kind of grasp that, I think. I'd like to see us get there.
Yeah, it's all related. It's all related.
Let's talk about something happy. Well, it is. Well, again, it is kind of happy. You've got a story to tell, and the story that you're telling could save somebody else's life. So that's one way to look at that. This journey that you went through could have an impact for untold number of people.
So when you were telling your story, Nate, I didn't realize, but you're right. I met Joey when he didn't have health insurance. And that's the first thing we did when we got married.
Whoa. I had horrible health insurance. There's a difference.
Joey had health insurance. Joey had very expensive health insurance. I don't know if Joey's health insurance would pay for a doctor's appointment. However, when we got married, the first thing we did was get those paperwork signed over Monday morning. We got married on a Saturday. Monday morning, we were at HR getting Joey on my health insurance because of how important health insurance is in America. And we don't know, whatever opinions you have about it, but
when you reach my age, you start thinking about long-term care.
Yeah.
My mom is a brilliant woman, and folks who were at the our Black Friday, am I allowed to call it by its real name?
Sure.
Okay, folks who came to our fall fuck around ride got to meet my parents, including my mom. So my mom is brilliant, and I have an enormous amount of respect for her. and she always wanted her kids to like have adventures and not miss out on things. But she also has this really practical and reasonable side to her. And she's been saying the same thing for the 41 years that I've been alive. She always tells her kids, follow your fancy, my dear. Just make sure you have health insurance.
That's the truth. It's the truth.
Yeah.
It's the absolute truth.
Do whatever you want as long as you had health insurance.
But you're advocate of a friend who, told you to seek out like Medicaid and stuff like that. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I mean, I could talk all day about the enormous favor that she did for me. But we're going to segue this. How do you say thank you to that person who not only saved your life, but then also saved you from complete financial ruin? Also could have ruined the shop. As the government can come from my business if I owe them $650,000. So how do you say thank you to that person? And this is a question that I sort of slaved over for a minute. But in this case, she runs a nonprofit called the Chaco Fund. And this nonprofit is designed to provide education and professional development opportunities to Bolivian women of the Chaco region. So when we had our fall fuck around this past Black Friday, the ride itself, 100% of the registration fees went to this scholarship fund that she runs. And then we had a raffle as well, which raised a few thousand additional dollars. Nice. And in the end, we were able to raise $8,018 towards this fund that provides these education opportunities to Bolivian women of the Chaco region.
I would hit the applause button on my soundboard, but Jess and Joey both get really angry with me when I play with sound effects. So, bravo! Just leave it.
It sounds funny until you hear it.
No, that is awesome. So, I mean, I want to put a link to all of that in the show notes. Make sure that I get all of that, so that if somebody that's listening to the podcast would like to continue with that, I want to make sure that we can put them in the right direction.
I mean, it's www.chacofund.org.
Chacofund.org.
Tell you everything you need to know right there.
Right on. I'm going to do that. So, friends, if you're listening and you're so inclined, and we're going to release this. I'll release it today, and it is Giving Tuesday. I'm going to release it tonight. We talked about that. So, it'll be out there. Do it. If you haven't done something yet, do it. That's the way to go. All right, let's talk about this new shop you got going on.
Yes.
Yeah. So I guess you're not far from your old shop, right?
About 5 blocks away.
And you guys, can you like lead up to the market? Like, or you guys are in like an old market building?
Yeah, so it was originally a car dealership in the 50s. Buick Oldsmobile, I always forget what it was. So the back warehouse space has this big, beautiful, like clear span construction. No vertical supports. It's just wall to wall and big enough to drive cars around, and actually pacing around back there right now. The front space is like basically imagine a bodega that everything's been removed from. I mean, it was a corner, like a family corner store deli for the last 30 or so years. And in between the car dealership and the family store, it was a farmer's market. Like the warehouse space in the back was a farmer's market.
Cool. I remember when I was up there to pick up my beautiful frame. Actually walking, you were telling me about it, and we looked at the plans, and how close to the plans that I saw are things playing out? Because man, that's a legit, like serious endeavor.
So take those plans, and just remember the spirit of those plans. We have we as my partner puts it, we like to build bike shops out of scraps. My partner, Chris, and I have 2 partners, Chris and Ted. Chris has built 3 bike shops. This is the 4th shop that he's built here in LangKISStur. All of them are still in business.
Wow.
And we sort of have a knack for like just finding cheap stuff, building our own sale displays and stuff like that. I forget what the original question was now. I'm sorry.
I remember it was like when I saw the plans, there was an eatery space up in the front and all kind of connected and kind of flowy together. And
so of course the construction costs for those plans came back astronomically high, like well beyond what we knew that our maximum ceiling was. And the entire project folded. We started looking at other buildings. The owner of the building that we're in now was just going to board it up. And at the point that it was just going to get boarded up and sit for a while until the market was stabilized, whatever that means. I don't know. I'm a bike mechanic.
Yeah.
So my partner, Chris, who has loved this building since childhood and grew up 150 feet away, he stepped in after the guy bought the building and he's like, hey, what's your plan? And the guy's like, I didn't really have a plan, so to speak. I just sort of, I just sort of liked the building. And Chris was like, all right, well, here's our plan. And he just pitched it to the guy, and he agreed. So we backed off from this, extravagant construction plan into the guy's going to give us a box space. I mean, it's a clean warehouse. They built a bathroom and they poured a new concrete floor for us. And then we built everything else up ourselves, mostly Chris and Ted, because they're better at swinging hammers. So it's
a piece of you when you do it that way. Your heart's
it
in
is.
it. Yeah.
It very much is. Also, the hours that we put in, after our actual bike shop closed, coming over here and working additional hours in the evening and stuff. Like it becomes a piece of your soul.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, how much bigger of a square footage did the shop go from to? What was that change?
I think it's about 50% bigger as we have it set up right now. But we have a wall built in this warehouse, and the wall can actually be moved back if we feel like we need to grow into it.
Oh, nice.
Also, the last shop looked smaller than it actually was because we had a pretty big storage space in the back. But so here's an amazing thing, and this is mostly for people who were at the fuck around this weekend. Everything that's in our shop now was in the previous shop. We have 50% more space, and it's already filled up. And sometimes we look around the new space with everything, all the shelves already filled, and we're like, how on earth did we fit all of this stuff in the last space? Which was, it was a garage with no windows in the back of a coffee shop.
Oh, Joey phased out for the minute there.
Right. No, I was thinking like our old shop was like this dungeon, and now we have windows and everything.
Yeah, it's like night and day.
Yeah,
like literally night and day.
Yeah,
we went from a 7.5 foot ceiling to like a 27 foot ceiling.
I love the open ceiling thing though. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
What's the customer response been?
Oh, overwhelmingly positive. I think that the turnout at our house party on Black Friday was probably an example of that. But it's in a real neighborhood in LangKISStur. The last shop was like true downtown. This is like the fringe of downtown in the neighborhood we call the West End. And it's a lot of the foot traffic has been, neighbors out walking their dog who rerouted just a little bit just to pop in and say hi and welcome to the neighborhood. We have an enormous parking lot, so we don't take any parking spots away from the neighborhood, and that's honestly the easiest way to just be a good neighbor is to not take anybody's spots when you move in.
Yeah.
So overwhelmingly positive, both from the immediate neighborhood and from the city as a whole, and honestly the bike community for that matter.
Yeah, the community wise, you guys did the build out. Your artist, is that like a local guy?
Yeah, he goes by Crumbs, Crumbs. Local guy who went to high school with my partner Chris, and he's kind of a juggernaut in the local art scene. If he's not creating his own art, he's hosting art shows or art markets, and is just a rad dude.
So where could people go to see pictures of all this? I'm assuming the Hushmoney Instagram is going to be loaded up with them, right?
Yeah, and we're starting to get fresh images on the webpage as well. My partner Ted, who never gets enough credit for all the work that he does, he's been updating a lot of the images on our webpage to reflect our current location.
Nice.
But honestly, Instagram is the best place to see stuff.
Yeah, it's the visual feast, so to speak.
Yeah, and we have fun with it. So.
Okay. I loved the field destroying. What was it? A set of bars, it looked like?
Yeah, part of that salsa whiskey recall that we all got notices on.
I've got to field destroy a cargo cover off my truck, and I'm playing with ways to do. I'm playing with ways
Excellent.
to do it. I have tractors and all sorts of fun things. I want to see exactly what we could have a little bit of fun with that. So, you offering any new products? Anything going on in the shop because of the additional space? How's it helping the shop grow?
We've expanded our nutrition offering a lot, which isn't necessarily an exciting answer. But it is something that was important to me. Like as soon as we have, more space, we're going to have more nutrition stuff. We're always expanding our branded merchandise because that stuff does well. And in terms of brands, we've been really excited about, Otso. We've been excited about Otso for a while. But the Wild bikes coming out of Minnesota, it's the brand started by Jeff Frayne. He's the guy who started All City back in the day. Really excited about the Wilds. It's WILDE. So, we don't bring a ton of them in. But in terms of things that are new in the shop that we're excited about, I love those Wilds. And the Rootworks bags as well. They're hard to get our hands on. But when we can get them, they usually go pretty quick.
I love mine. I've had one for a while now since we had Justin on the podcast a while back.
I ordered my handlebar bag last night.
Nice.
I got mine on the Kickstarter way back in the day, and I've been preaching that gospel ever since as well.
I think I was on the first just off of Kickstarter. They had just started rolling them out through the website, and I was on the sort of like that cusp of it. And I remember I reached out to them because there were some folks that were doing copycat stuff on Instagram, and I was like, "Hey, you guys see this? Because your bag's a whole lot better than this." That'd be a problem. And honestly, that I have to talk about my Otso, my work, and it's a legit love affair. I love that bike. I absolutely love that bike. It's just.
I still feel that same way about my Wahila.
Man, it's
like I still lust after it. After I've had it for a few years now. Like I still lust after the thing.
I'm developing those style feelings as well. I've been riding it a lot more lately. It's ever since the fall. It's kind of like that's the one the bike you pull out to ride when you get, especially right now. With the road conditions, it's the weather's getting crappy. There's always lots of debris on the shoulders this time of year, and wherever you go, it just feels like things are a little rougher around the edges this time of year.
Yeah.
So that's always the bike that gets pulled out of the stable now.
Yeah, it's my Swiss Army bike.
Yeah. Now tell me, for folks that don't know, how can they find you and the shop and all the things on Instagram and on the web, all those places?
The shop's Instagram is Hushmoney Bikes. My personal is Baron VonFancypants. It's a name that's kind of grown bigger than Nate Baker. I'm just, and we actually, we put a lot of effort into making sure our information is always accurate. If you search us on Google, my partner Ted is a wizard at search engine optimization stuff.
That's an art. It's an art.
Yeah, you could be sitting in your living room in Florida and just type in Hushmoney into Google, and it's going to know you want to go to Hushmoney Bikes.
Nice.
And we always keep our hours accurate. On the rare occasion that we shut down for a day or whatever, we'll have it on. We have it on Google because Ted knows how to do that stuff. I barely know how to use Google as a consumer.
Well, it's good that you do that because so many people don't, and it's very frustrating as a consumer.
I cannot tell you how many customers say that exact same thing to us. I can't believe that your inventory is actually accurate. And that seems like it should be an expectation. But the reality is the person that wants to open a bike shop isn't, more often than not, is not a computer person. We're bike folks. We do bikes.
Right.
So to have a partner who does that and does it extremely well and is willing to do it for the amount of money that we make as bike shop owners, it makes me feel extraordinarily lucky.
I just think about the things I do for the bike club. It's you do it. It's a passion. It's passion. It's just passion, and we all need that. And so it's nice when you can make a little bit of money along the way, but passion is the driver, I think, and we'll all go a lot further if we listen to our hearts.
Yeah, listen to your hearts.
That's
what I'm saying.
Brian is making heart puns, and every time he makes one, he looks at us, and me and Joey are like stone cold over here. We're like, we're not laughing at your heart jokes anymore, Brian.
Joey's not stone cold. He's just, okay. You want to stick around for this or that, Nate? Please say yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, y'all ready?
Yeah.
Nate, I'm going to toss it over to you first, then Jess, then me, then, maybe Joey, make sure you're listening when I say it to myself so that maybe you'll be there by the time.
Joey, you have it written in front of you too if you get confused, okay?
Okay, let's just go.
Gummy bears or long leaf tobacco?
Gummy bears.
Jessica.
They're all laughing. I'm not choosing gummy bears because it is going around our school that kids are eating.
Okay, Jessica. No one likes a narc.
Okay, never mind. I'm done. Skip this one for me.
For you're a teacher. I do like me some Haribo gummy bears, Joey.
Yeah, those are good.
They're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, aren't they good, bud? Okay, second one. Which is more important, tire size or pressure?
Pressure.
Jessica?
Don't really know either,
Oh,
but I know that my mountain bike needs less than my gravel bike.
excellent.
That's what I know.
Yeah.
There you
That's
go.
all I need to know, right?
It's all about the cush.
There you go.
It's all about the cush. I'm pressure too all the way. I think that you can get crazy. 38 versus 42, but 50 versus 60, woo, big game changer, Joey.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I thought you were going with size for some reason.
Sometimes I joke that my entire life is telling people that their tire pressure is too high and their saddles are too low.
Speaking of which, I have our mountain bike pump only goes to 50,
Uh-huh.
and I have people that borrow. They're like, why does it only go to 50? It's like,
Because
nothing of mine goes over 50. Yeah, it's all about pressure.
all about pressure. Oh, we all agree.
Yeah.
Excellent. Next item. Welder gloves on a long ride or no glasses on a rainy day?
No glasses on a rainy day. I can get kind of reckless with that.
Jess. Have you ever understood any of the this or that yet so far?
I mean, like, they're like kind of like I got yelled at for being a narc on the first one. And every time I write a referral, I wear my snitches get stitches socks and they're in my classroom ready to go. Because every time I say that, my husband goes, "Stop being such a snitch." And I put on my socks happily. One kid goes, "Oh shit, she's putting on her socks now." We all know what's happening.
I can't even imagine riding a bike with welder gloves.
Oh no, that sounds terrible.
It would be just horrible. Joey?
Yeah. If I don't have my glasses on, I also can't see in general. So what's the difference?
Well, I don't ride with my glasses on. I kind of like point it in a direction and send it.
Yeah, it's probably best for my safety. Just,
Yeah.
yeah, no glasses.
Although if you fell, the welder's gloves would really like protect those
Oh, yeah.
mittens. Yeah.
Or if you had to do some welding,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Just by
Super
chance,
helpful.
Like, I had an employee, his frame cracked yesterday mid-ride. He could have just welded it back.
Yeah.
Exactly.
yeah,
You're ready to
bust out
get-
that Miller-Matic you got in your seat bag, and
Yeah.
you're fine.
A little
blue.
little pocket welder. Don't talk. I actually have a whole bunch of welders in my barn. I don't know how to use any of them.
Just in case.
Okay, last item on this or that. I think that we all will be able to identify.
It's not true. You'll be surprised.
Old shop.
So I got one that I want to add when you're done.
Oh, excellent. Old shop or new shop?
Oh, new shop all day, baby.
Yeah. Yes.
I'll probably go Joey's new shop. I mean,
Yeah.
right? I
Yeah.
can do that.
I think that's the idea is,
Yeah.
new or old.
Yeah. We have our old new and Nate has his old new.
I got it.
And-
Thanks, guys, for explaining
Okay.
it to me.
The
I
new
really
new.
appreciate
You know what?
that.
I might surprise you. I really liked the charm
Of
of
the
the
old
old
shop.
shop. I like what the new shop has done for Pack. I think Pack is a much larger presence in the community. I think you're able to offer more services. I think you're more visible. There's a lot of tremendous bonuses that come along with the new location and the new shop and the size and what you're doing there. But there's something about the old shop that was a little charming.
That was like waxing poetic to me.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Our old shop.
Are you tearing up?
No,
over there?
our old shop was an OSHA hazard. Like, oh my God.
Which is why it burned down.
Like, our freaking homemade loft that you might have fallen through had a ladder with like one nail through it.
So they're old
And you're
shop.
carrying like 100 bikes up this thing. Like, it had 4 ceilings. We shot fireworks inside of it. Like, there's no wonder we literally didn't burn it down.
I just know there was wires all over the place, and
But we had smoke alarm batteries.
but it was charming. I loved
Yeah.
the charm.
I like the new shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's we like what you said. It's offered us more, and
Yeah.
we have more windows, so it's bright.
Yeah.
We're not like dark vampires.
You're not like living in the back and wondering what's going on outdoors.
So I like my office. I actually had an office for like 2 months when my actual, the owner was gone, and I ran the store.
Uh-huh.
And it, if it rained, it flooded. Like there was like
moisture on
standing
it.
water. Like
Now,
so it was a pit.
it's also the new shop. You kind of get to put your stamp on it, and I think Nate, you're probably feeling that same thing. It's like
Yeah.
you're putting
Yeah.
your
Big
brand on
blank
it.
space.
I mean,
Honestly, everything that Joey's saying about like old shop, new shop, I feel like applies to the Hushmoney thing as well. I mean, like we have space to have classes and events now, whereas before it's like you couldn't even walk to the other side of the shop to use the air compressor without having to do 3 figure eights.
Tell me, how long was the old shop in play?
We claim that our birthday is 420 of 20. In reality, the shop started in my backyard about a month prior to that. But we realized about a year in that we needed to celebrate a birthday, and we looked at the calendar, and it was a couple days from 420, and we were just like, "Well, this seems on brand for us."
That's Chris and Emma's anniversary.
Is it really? Did they legitimately?
It was the
married?
same type of thing. Yeah, it was close. They don't know.
Got it. Now, you said you had a this or that to add. I'm eager for this one.
Yeah, I because I'm always representing Pennsylvania as hard as I can. I just want to know Sheets or Wawa.
Oh,
This is a setup.
Jess.
this is like the most argumented thing in our marriage because it's honestly like am I supposed to go?
Yes.
Like everybody knows I love Wawa. Like on Tuesdays they give you free coffee. Like,
Sure.
and that you could even get a handcrafted beverage. The peppermint mocha one was on today. I love
Delicious.
Wawa. Wawa is my favorite. Like, it's my favorite. There is in our sixth grade yearbook, underneath it, they ask you your favorite restaurant, and mine said Wawa underneath it. So, like, I love Wawa.
You could have done well in court with that.
Sheets is better. It's got a fryer.
False. You guys.
Sheets is better. It's got a fryer. I love their store aesthetic. I love that when you walk in.
Excuse me.
It's Sheets all day, Joey.
Sheets.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Unless there's a what's that brown place? Rudders.
Rudders. Oh, Rudders.
I was waiting for somebody to bring up gutters. I was like, somebody's going to bring up gutters before the end of this conversation.
It's been forever, and then I hit Rudders on the way home from Grinduro and fell in love with their tater tots.
Oh, the tater tots and the chocolate milk.
Yeah, but Sheets.
If you're deep into a ride and you stumble upon a Rudders, that pot pie, man, it just it does the trick.
I'm a sucker for a pot pie.
I love you guys. You're very nice people, but nobody ever complains about the gobbler bolt at Wawa.
So, and this is my next point here is I'm Sheets 11 months out of the year unless the gobbler is on the menu, and then I'm Wawa hard.
Okay. Yeah, I see it because they do that. They do that right.
Still around?
Yeah, they do that right too.
I was trying to get it on our way to Jersey the other day, and it was like an hour wait for food.
At a
Literally,
Wawa?
we were off the 301 split.
If you'd have been at a Sheets, you'd have had it right lickety split out the door.
Yeah. True, yeah.
Also, your heart just wasn't in it. If you weren't willing to wait. Jess just shakes her head at me, and Joey actually giggles.
Yeah. No, Sheets has good subs too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's nice getting some
It does.
It's
mozzarella
also
sticks.
you know what I like is you can do the little sliders, the little burger sliders. They're
those, yeah.
ridiculously good. And I had the hot dog with the pretzel bun. Oh my god, that's so
Yeah.
good.
Okay, so again, I'm gonna say that I love you guys very much, but I think that's why I love mountain biking. Is because after mountain biking, Joey takes me to Wawa.
Okay.
And that's why
true,
it's
yeah.
like Pavlov's dog. Like, oh, we're going to Wawa. Like, I'm ready to go. Like, I love it. Ready to go.
Now I'm assuming, Nate, that you would have also chosen Sheets, the correct choice. Yeah.
11 months out of
11 months
the
out of
year.
the year.
Yeah.
You did say that. I'm sorry. You did say that. I'm sorry.
But I'll also say, when you're 4 or 5 hours into a ride deep in the show, Rudders is all you're going to get, and you're going to be real glad that you found it.
Nice.
Yeah, we got Royal Farm chicken down here.
Best chicken tenders, I'll give you that. Best chicken tenders at Royal Farms.
Yeah. Chicken tenders are legit. All the chicken is good. All the chicken is good at Ropo.
Yeah.
So, all right, about time to shut this thing down this week. Nate, thank you so very much for joining us this episode. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks for having me. Everybody listen to your body. It's important.
Excellent. Thanks, everybody, for listening to this episode of Mid-Atlantic Gravel Traveling Doit. I'm not even the one. It's Joey. Do you enjoy the podcast? Yes, you do. Of course you do. Then maybe consider joining us on Patreon. I'm going to let it all go. Joey, how can folks get in touch with us?
If you want to come touch me, you can come. Like I said, Father's Dave's the only one to take me up on that. I'm at my shop. Otherwise, we're graveltraveldirt.com and at Mid-Atlantic GTD.
Mid-Atlantic Gravel Travel and Dirt is recorded this week from right here in the kitchen all the way up to LangKISStur,
Yes.
Pennsylvania. Getting it right. I just had to take my time and think about it, like
Yes.
most things in life. When you take
Just
your
make
time,
it sexy.
Yeah.
Just make it sexy. It'll come out right.
You know what? That is it. Like KISStur.
Mhm.
Yes, that's it right there. I like that. Thanks, everybody, for riding along. Until next time, do good, be nice, go slow, and respect others.
Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.